All right, I want to talk about section 1.16, and it's called Problem-Solving Models. So we're going to be using a lot of the things that we've been talking about in the previous sections, and we're going to be kind of combining them into solving some word problems. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the steps to solve. And then later we'll talk about ways to solve. So the first thing that we're going to be doing, and this section is going to be a little different. I want you to show a lot of your work instead of just putting the answers down. If we don't show our work, we're going to have to redo the whole thing. So show your work is going to be incredibly important here. Okay, let's take a look at an example, and we kind of can see what this is going to require. Let's see. Let's look at Jake here. And Jake spent a total of 180 minutes on homework. And on Monday, doing math, history, and science. He spent 45 minutes on math. He spent 1 hour on science. The question is, how much time did he spend on history? All right, so the first thing that we're going to need to write out when we're solving this. So this I don't need to actually write because this will come in the problem. But when I put my little number 1, when I'm solving this, let me move this up a little bit so I have a little bit more space. I need to answer these 3 questions. I need to write my unknown. I need to write my knowns. And I need to write my plan. Okay? So my unknown in this case is the minutes on history homework. Homework. That's what I'm trying to figure out in this case. My known, I know that it was 180 total. I know that there was 45 on math. I know that there was 60 minutes on science. My plan. Now, when I'm coming up with this plan here, I have a couple of ways that I can do it. Now, the 6 most common that I'm going to use are these. I'm going to write them out, and what I would recommend is you choose one of them to use for your solutions. So let's go through them. I want to find a different color. Let's go through them really quick. Number 1. First thing we can do is find a pattern. Second thing we could do is what I've advocated before is called guess and check. Number 3 is start at the end and work backwards. Number 4 is we can draw a picture. Number 5, oops, I am totally off the page, just realized it. Number 5 is we can write an equation. And finally, number 6 is use a formula. Now, between all 6 of these options, it's likely that we'll be able to solve anything that we need to do in these sections. Okay, so for this problem right here that I'm going to need to be solving, the one that I'm going to choose is I'm going to choose write an equation. So my plan is to write an equation. So now I don't need to just fill this out when I'm doing this problem. I need to actually do the work and show me how we're doing. So my equation is going to look like this. I'm just going to write, I'm going to set my total time equal to total time. And one side I'm going to add it all up, and one time I'm going to use the number that I know. So for example, my total time here is 180 minutes. The other side, I should be able to add up my history, math, and science together. So I should be able to add my 60 for my science, plus my 45, my math, plus my X of history. Well, now I should be able to solve from this point. So 60 and 45 is 105. 105 plus X equals 180. And now I can even use my guess and check to figure out what will I be adding in this case. Well, 105 plus X to 180, I can kind of figure that out in my head, and I can see that X equals 75, because 75 plus 85 would work this way out. So I know that 75 minutes was spent on history homework. That's a lot of history homework. A lot of time spent. It's a bad 7. All right, now I want to see all of this work for each problem. What's nice is there's only 10 problems, but it is quite a bit of things to show. So I want you to show me this whole piece is required for each problem. I want to see the... let me get a color. I can do pink. I need my unknown, my known, my plan, and my plan's execution. Okay, let's take a look at one more. Now let me find one that I like better than that one. Okay, we're going to solve this. This will be our example 1. William began running. On week 1, he ran 2 miles. Week 2, he ran 2.5 miles. And week 3, he ran 3 miles. If the pattern continues, what week will he run 5 miles? All right, so we have our question. Now we need to start writing out the problems and how we got to where we're going. So we need to write out our knowns. How do we do it? We started with unknowns, known, and plan. Okay, my unknown is what week is 5 miles. My known, in week 1, it was 2. In week 2, it was 2.5. And in week 3, it was 3 miles. Okay, and what is my plan? Well, if I go back and look at my possibilities that I could use to solve, it seems like this number 1, finding a pattern, is going to be my best plan. All right, so one of the ways that I can find a pattern in this case is I'm going to make a little chart, and I'm going to make a little table. So if we go to week and we go miles, I can say in week 1, he ran 2 miles. In week 2, there was 2.5. And in week 3, there was 3 miles. In week 4, okay, if I'm going to start to notice a pattern here, it looks like my pattern is I add 0.5 miles every week. So I should be able to continue on that pattern until I get to 5. So this week 4 is going to be 3.5. Week 5 is 4. Week 6 is 4.5. in week 7 is 5. And this is going to give me the answer that I'm looking for by finding this pattern. So my answer can be week 7, he will run 5 miles. So again, when we do this problem, I want to see all of this work showing me your entire plan. For these sections, or we'll have to redo them from the beginning because it's not the answer. It's not the answer. It's the process. Okay? Makes sense, I hope. If you have a question, please ask. Go ahead and good luck.